That's the key thing.
The final prophet is
Fine,
Muhammad.
Muhammad.
And,
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Are you Muslim?
no.
Are
I
you-
believe in the idea of God.
In the idea of God?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, okay, if you believe in the idea of God,
Yes.
but you don't identify yourself as a Muslim, yes? Okay. Now, do you think when God has created us, did He leave us just to wander around, just to discover our faith, or do you think He will inspire to us what we should believe?
So what I believe is
That's what you believe. I'm asking you as a general concept.
a general concept.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure, and I'll be honest with you, right? But from my mindset right now, which is all I can speak of, is that I live in the competitive world where whatever your beliefs are, it's from over time. So say whatever emotional experience you have
You
as a
don't have
child.
this,
yeah, of
yeah.
course, I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
So whatever emotional experience I have as a child, I could watch Disney movies all the time, and I think the relationship between men and women are a husband and wife. Or I could read the Quran and see that you can have 4 wives, but that's not pushed in Western media. My experience of my emotional being is that when I'm a child, I want to have this dream state of having a wife. But in the Quran, it probably says you can have up to 4 wives.
Up to, but you don't have to.
Yeah, but like it's a different concept, you know what I mean? Because of the indoctrination of what I saw when I was a young kid, emotion when I was bringing up myself.
So you think the faith is established based on the society that you live in?
No, I believe that without God, because you believe in God, you're a very good God worshipper, you know exactly what you're talking about. If you believe in God, then you'll be a moral person and society will continue. Yeah, everyone here believes in God to some degree, and we're good, better people. We see people in the LGBTQ guys; they're destroying society right now in the West.
Can you tell me what's the definition of good and bad?
The good and bad, I think it's subjective.
It is subjective.
Yes.
So do you think God will allow things which is subjective in the people to discover what is good and bad? For example, if it's subjective, that means what Hitler did and his Nazi people, what they did to the Jews, killing, for example, thousands and millions of people, they did something good because it's subjective.
Here's what I think, all right?
That's good?
No. Here's what I think, right? I wasn't there. I don't know Hitler's motivations or whatever. We're making assumptions of what happened based off the experiences and the knowledge that we have back then. There was no footage back then. There was nothing like that.
That's not my point. My point is, the society, they get together, they vote, they discover, they will say, this is what we believe is good, so it's good. This is what we believe is bad, is bad.
People need to believe that.
So that's right?
No. I'll tell you what I believe. Everybody, 50% of us need to all agree on what's good and bad. If we don't, who the fuck knows?
Not your word, because there are children who are walking, listening to these videos, yeah?
All right, but these people, right? People need to believe, at least 50% of them, we need to believe in an objective reality. I myself can say I don't believe this, but if everybody said I believe the sky is blue, yellow, green, then you can't function in that society.
No, that's not my point. My point is, if you accept that there should be an objective morality, not subjective.
No, I think we all live in our subjective realities.
So, okay. So you believe in subjective morality?
No, I believe that we all live in our own subjective morality. Subjective morality is just competitiveness. So I would never do this to you, my friend, but like, say for some reason, I was really thirsty and I was like dying, I would for some reason I might take your drink, I'm talking about like my family's about to starve, like rare situation, right? I take that drink and drown it, right? I wouldn't do it, right? But that's
okay. You could do it. In Islam, you could do it.
You can
still. If you are in a desperate situation, yes. Yeah, you are.
And we need that. We need people.
Okay, then why don't you accept Islam?
But you would think I'm a bad person.
No, I don't. Who told you?
No. So if I stole that drink and you don't know the context behind it, I look like I am now. I just run off with your drink.
If you told me I'm desperate and you take it, you don't have to steal it. You just say I'm thirsty, I'm dying. Just give me, and I will give it to you happily. My point is, we should understand that since you are a God believer.
Of course.
So if there is a God believer, that means there should be some kind of morality to be established. Otherwise, everyone will establish their own thing.
50% of people at least need to follow an objective. That's why this.
Not all the people, they have to.
As the common people, yes. So what we need to do.
Not common, everyone. Because God is for everyone, am I right?
The most competitive people don't believe exactly how you believe, because you can't do interest in Islam, right? The most competitive people in the world, they have interest, they get loans, they buy property, XYZ. That's putting you in a less profitable situation to get money in the system that we live in.
Yeah,
right?
but do you know what's happening to the system because of these things?
It's collapsing. I correct.
It's collapsing.
But
so that's why if you go to the Islamic principles, basically that the lend and the loans and all of this to stop the interest, it actually strengthens the economy. It doesn't go around it. But only the interest is benefiting certain people and destroy actually the economy of the country. That's how it is.
And the most competitive people would use God, and they would use the idea of it.
No, you don't have to use God.
Yeah.
My point is, if we know, for example, if you are a God believer, so Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was sent 1400 years ago. Yeah. In these 1400 years ago, he came with the book, with the revelation from God. Now, this revelation came from God, which inspires 2 billion Muslims on earth nowadays.
Amazing.
Those 2 billion Muslims on earth, they tried their best not to deal with interest. They tried their best not to commit, sins and commit fornication and adultery and drink alcohol. They tried their best to live with good morality. Like it's only like you could say 99% of them, they're only having one wife, by the way, just for you to know, from all of them. Meaning even the option is available for them to have more than one wife. But the point is,
the most competitive people,
right? Why? Because here there are some implementation. When you want to have more than one wife, that means there are some other
laws and shit.
There are. So the point is, if you see this, that means there is something behind this faith. Am I right?
What, faith in the system?
No, Islam, behind the faith of Islam.
I'm talking from a competitive viewpoint of someone who wants to achieve a very high standard in the life we're living in. Okay?
Yes.
So if I wanted to gain great money, have great relationship with women, do all the stuff that a guy would want to do, like trying to have a good network and doing all this stuff and keep fit, that means that I have to do interest, which goes against Islam. If you break one law in Islam, I don't think you're a Muslim.
No, that's not
exactly.
True. No, that's not true.
So you can break.
No, it doesn't mean you're a sinner. It doesn't mean you're out of Islam.
No, if everyone broke this law, that law doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't.
I hold myself to that standard.
No, that's not right. In Islam, if all the Muslims they break the one law in Islam, it doesn't mean that the law is not there.
Then what's the point of it if no one's going to listen to
it?
No,
my point is, it's here we need to understand. No one listens to it. People adhere to it. People they strive to follow it. People they try to follow it. Now, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, because the laws of Islam are preserved in the Quran, preserved in the authentic Sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him. It's not something based on what the people think. So at the end of the day, what you brought, this hypothesis, say that law broken by everyone, this is not the case generally. But even if it happens, still the preservation of the Quran based on the Quran itself is not based on what the people receive. You see that shows this faith. It didn't come from a person, it came from God, the one who sent it down.
And I believe that everybody should subscribe to what you're thinking, okay? If everybody in this...
Why don't you subscribe yourself?
Because I'm a competitive person. I've unlocked that level in my mind, and I want you to know that I'm looking...
You came from Muslim background yourself?
No, I came from a Sikh background, actually.
Sikh background,
so
okay.
I came from that background where it's like, I've already broken the belief system, and now I view, because I was in the system of like, okay, like do this, do that for Sikhism, right? And what I view the world as is, okay, I know like certain rules socially. Like before, if you met me a few years ago, I'd probably start like I would be very shy, if you know what I mean? And I had to like learn to talk and learn like the social boundaries. But that's just like a law in your head that you have to learn.
We're happy by the way to see you, who you are now, which is and I believe you are close to Islam, by the way. For many reasons.
I'm close to God, so
you're close to God.
Islam believes in God, so of course.
But not everyone believes in God in the same way. That's, for example, Christianity they believe in God, Jews they believe in God, Sikhs they believe in God. But which God are we talking about?
No, the idea of it.
No, not the idea. You have to know which God. You have to identify the definition of God. Let's identify the God.
Let me ask you a question first.
But what's the definition of God? Do you have any definition for it?
The definition of God?
Yeah.
It's an idea in your head where, let me tell you how I define God, right? When I'm at my lowest, I believe in God will save me. I'm using God's power to take me out of negative situations, because when you're the most sad, you do not have any belief in yourself. We've all gone through certain stages where you don't believe yourself as much. That's when you need God. That's why people turn to Islam, Christianity. I use God for that reason.
But here...
That's a competitive viewpoint,
But that's
isn't
wrong.
it?
But that's wrong. Why
is it wrong?
I will tell you why. Because for example, if I say to you, based on my own thing, to say to you, okay, I believe I think there is a dragon behind this tree. Here, there's a concept in my head. It's not necessarily the case. Abdullah, put it here in the shade, close to the shade, yeah. So it's not an idea. So even if someone says it's an idea, still the idea, if it's not supported with the truth, it's not. So we're talking about reality.
But the dragon doesn't make you competitive.
My point is, you said the idea.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. We're talking about a real God.
Yeah.
That's why when we say it's not only idea, we're talking about real God.
Let me give you an example.
Exist
of real
in
God.
the existence.
Shall I give you an example of a real God? Okay. This is why I believe what I believe, and if you can dismantle this, then you can. I'll convert right
Okay.
now. Okay.
Then you'll become Muslim.
If you can dismantle this.
Okay.
If there's two islands, me and you, we're on a ship. I capsize, you come too far, right? And we both go to separate islands, right? The island I go to, they are like tribesmen. They don't believe in anything. They believe to eat humans, right? But your society you go to, you believe in God. And God said, do not kill strangers who just passed away. Did I get killed, you survived. Did God not just save your life? It did. And if God saved your life, and if as a society, we took people in who was hurt, which were broken, which is what Islam, Christianity, all these do, then it'll be a better society and we can have a better common man. Okay. That's why I believe in the idea of it, but I won't subscribe to certain thinking.
Okay. Actually,
yes.
God saved my life and God took your life.
From where?
If you go to this island, to the same analogy that you used.
Yes.
Yeah, because Allah Azza wa Jal told us in the Quran, Al-Muhyi Al-Mumit. He is the one who brings life and gives survival. And he is the one who brings death as well. Meaning he's in charge of both. Which means if you're being killed by someone else, it doesn't mean those who killed you, they participate in killing you. But the one who handled your soul is God. The one who took your soul is God. The one who for example, knew the day that you're gonna die and the way you're gonna die is God, no one else. So the point is exactly what we said. If you go to both island, I was saved and you were killed.
Yes.
Both
society believes in God.
No,
Mine
one second. It doesn't matter. It does not matter because that's why the concept. One second. No. It doesn't matter. My point is.
This God has said
what you are
do
saying.
Not kill
one second.
People.
1 second. Even
Mine
if I go,
hasn't.
even me as a God believer, and I went to that society, still, if I was killed by them, still God is the one who took my soul. It's not them. My point is, those people you are talking about, people on earth, people in this universe who participate in doing good or bad. Here in this life, in this life that we live in, they are good, they are bad. Things happen good and things which is bad is happening. All these things is happening, but that's not the point. The point is, when we are talking about God, yeah, God is beyond this. God is above His creation. So that's why whatever happens in this universe, it doesn't happen except by the will of God. So it's only on earth. So if I die because of something, or if I live because of something, in both ways, this is the will of God. Does that make sense?
It makes absolute sense because what I'm getting at is that you're saying that God decides if I die today.
Yes.
And I agree with that. If by some luck there's something happened today and I died right now, peace, because God decided I died today. That's fine, right? However, the point that I'm posing on why I believe in only the idea. So as a society, if people are saying, do you believe in God? I believe in God. I will believe in God to the day I die, and I will use that faith as much as I can, is because it will help the common man as much as possible. However, I'm a competitive person and I want to achieve high things in this life, this 30, 40, however many years God gives me on this planet. And because of that, that means I can't stick to the moral standards of, say, Islam, Christianity, XYZ. I use the system, which is not a Christian or a Islamic society. I use it against it.
But what about if the system goes against the will of God?
But then you have to do. What is the will of God? That's your definition of it.
No, not my definition. We say that's what we have to. That's what my point is. We're talking about an objective point of view, not just only what we think. So that's why the system they follow certain corruption. For example, within the system, Hitler, they follow certain corruption during his time. My point is, it doesn't matter what the people are doing. What matters to us is what God described to us, what God wants from us.
You won't be as successful. Say me and you are in the same position. We're both 19 out of school, right? We're both very driven people. We try and go into investment banking or something like that. A system of Western hypocrisy. I went into investment banking before, right? The values that you need to adopt to succeed in that system goes against God. You know, LGBTQ, you have to write on the email he/him, which doesn't make sense, and that's not something you would want to do.
At the end of the day, I will be doing.
Would you let your family starve for the fact that you live in a system that does not believe in God? I wouldn't.
God told us in the Quran, if you are in a place that you've been the people that are narrowing your options, the people that are against you, they can't practice your faith. Then the land of God is widely spread. You could travel to an area where you could practice your faith. God told us this in the Quran again. Meaning, you don't have.
Do you know what I mean?
That's why, because
people
what you are using, you're using your own analogy in terms of getting money. Money is not everything.
Money is a tool to buy freedom, which is what.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
Even the richest multi-billionaire on earth, at the end of the day, he needs a meal to survive. He needs a place he needs to sleep.
Do you think they're happier than the poor people?
No.
You don't think a rich person who doesn't have to work a job that he doesn't want to work
I don't.
is not happier?
Do you know that I don't? Do you know why? Because here, think about money first.
That is the greatest lie.
By the way, do you know? Actually, when you search, for example, what is the richest country in terms of the national income in Europe? Do you know which one?
The national income of Europe, probably a Scandinavian country.
Scandinavian countries. Sweden
Yeah.
is one of the, in terms of the individual income, is one of the best ones. Do you know the number of suicidal things?
Don't believe in God. 100%. I agree.
That's my point.
Yes. No.
So they have money.
But
They have money. They have everything.
Person. They don't have God.
Even
though.
they shorten the time for the work in the day. They do all of these
But
things.
they don't have God.
But they don't have God.
I have the idea of God. So then it
So
will work with
the
me.
idea of God doesn't work, my friend.
Why does not?
You have to believe in God, not the idea of God.
I do believe in the idea of God.
Not the idea. God, not the idea. God is not an idea. God is God. God is real, not idea.
What is the person you rely on when you're lowest?
God
What
is-
the person
listen,
you're
listen.
thankful for and grateful for, right?
Yeah.
So that's
God is God. It's not idea. God is God. It's not idea. It's not an idea. It's not a concept. It's not an idea. God is God. Exist in the existence. That's what it is. Exist in reality.
Do you think the most competitive people in the world believe that God as strongly as you? The most competitive
Not stronger.
people.
God is stronger
the
than all of us.
politicians,
Look at this
the
universe.
top
How the
lawyers.
universe came into existence.
No, do you think the most?
God created this universe. It's sufficient to know that God is the greatest.
I'm talking about the people at the top of the system.
What?
At the people at the top of the system, the lawyers, the politicians.
For
all
me,
these
those are
people.
not my standard.
But they're the most competitive people in
Listen.
terms of money, status.
Yeah, money,
all
but
this
that's why.
stuff.
Because you look at the money and status, but I don't look into I don't see for me, my motivation is not this. My motivation, for example, to see someone who has helped other people. That's for me. That's more motivational for me than any other thing. And I will share with you one story. Yeah? It was said about a man who was a very rich man. He said he brought his story that he's very rich.
Yeah.
But he said, I came to the point. Okay, nothing makes me happy. Every now and then I will get a new car, whatever car, Ferraris, whatever. Yeah, and then one day, 2 days, I get bored. I get another thing. I go a trip. I travel the world. Yeah, Jazakallah khair. I travel the world. I do this. Nothing makes me happy. What makes me happy? Still, I feel empty. Yeah, here. And then he said there are some rich people. They get together, and they said they decided to go to give because they found that donation and helping others will bring happiness. So they decided to go to these, I think to Bosnia or something, when they, to give the children who suffered from the war, their legs been amputated, to give them wheelchairs. So he said, I purchased 100 wheelchairs and everyone, we said, and basically the idea is to bring these wheelchairs to them, put the child on it, and that's it. That's all what we want.
I completely agree. And let me tell you why. The way I want to live my life, right, is I want to be rich enough and out of this system of slavery that I can help people like that. I want to do that. I'm not even joking. I'm not trying to just say it for whatever camera. I want to do that.
My
but
friend,
I can't
you
do
may
that
achieve.
without the
My
morals.
friend,
Yes.
you may achieve what you want in this life.
Yes.
But you will not achieve what you want in the hereafter.
That's for God to know.
No, but that's what we are saying to you. We are telling you, if God is not a concept, God is not an idea, accept Him, and you will. God didn't tell us to prevent from this world. God didn't tell us to trade, to have money, to do. And there are many Muslim.
We're trapped in a
There are
system.
many Muslim businessmen and business people who are involved in business and they are strong in business. There are many, not one or
They're
two or
the most
three.
competitive. They're
Yeah.
not the most competitive because they can't do interest.
My point is still, it doesn't matter for us, because for us, the income, the most important thing is the income to be lawful, the income to be pure.
Yes.
We don't want the income. For example, you said if the system allows, according to you, if the system allows income through prostitution, for example, the system and if the system is based on this, because we know by the way, there are some systems like this, yeah, some certain areas. Basically, I went to one of the areas. It's basically the system is based on two main things: prostitution and gambling, mainly. The whole area in this. Now you say, according to you, if I go there, this is the system. I will just go with the system. I will just go with the flow.
You have to use the system.
No, that's not right.
No, because you know
How
why?
come?
Because
how come?
I,
you already
I'll tell you why.
You don't accept your sister.
tell you why.
You don't accept your daughter to be prostitute. You don't accept this.
No, I'll tell you why. That example, no. Okay.
This is.
No,
But that's what you say. This
right
is.
now. I'm being competitive in the real world. Okay. In the real world.
I'm talking about real world. Yes. In this nowadays, I went to an area which is this is the system of the country or the area. That's how it is. Gambling, which is casinos, and prostitution.
So that's the only route for success.
Basically.
That's you can't go education. There's nothing else.
By the way, and even if you look into the whole thing, into the whole system, those are the multi-millionaires in the system. Those are the ones who run these businesses.
Yeah. That's how they make the money.
Yeah,
and
but meaning the other ones, they don't make as much money as those ones. So if we understood this, that means it's not about the system. It's about our morality. It's us.
Yeah.
Because what happens? What do you think? What do you think? It will not harm you. It eventually will harm you. What do you think? You're away from it. They said if you walk in a street of mud, eventually the mud will fill your garment.
Your example's great, and let me tell you why. Everybody in this whole, I hope that if that system existed, then everybody would say, no, I believe in Islam. Our Islam says we can't do prostitution, drugs, we'd rather die. You know what's happening like Gaza, people are leaving their home because they would rather die.
Yeah.
Then the system will collapse, right? That's why 50% of people believe in God.
I
am a competitive person. I'd go through the selling drugs or doing whatever just to make a living and to help my mom. And that's my moral, that's how I view
eventually,
the world.
The same if you start doing
I'll
this.
keep God in my head.
You know, how come, for example,
Sorry,
you know, the one, it's okay. So the one who's like for example, what's his name? Pablo Escobar.
Pablo Escobar.
Yeah. He had the same idea like you. He had the same idea to be the massive drug dealer, and he had morality. By the way, he said we don't sell drugs to Latin America. We sell drugs only to United. That he has this morality, and he has this. Eventually, what happens? He made the trade to happen in his own country. He destroyed the life of the youth of his own country. He destroyed the system of his own country. Instead of that, so the point is, yes, he made money and he was multi-millionaire. Even when they dig now, they find dollars which is rotten in the ground. That's how much. And actually, so to find that, you understand how rich he was. Yeah. So he was so rich to the extent they didn't know where to go with the money.
The money was his God. Money was, he believed in
no,
money.
Actually, no. You know what? You know how many, he built churches, he built schools, he built orphanages in his own
his
Colombia.
own greed made him like sell out his
Yeah,
system,
that's
right?
why my point is to you. That's why when you put your morality and the standard of the morality on these things, that's a problem. And instead of this, we are inviting you to look into the Islamic system. So Islamic system put boundaries. There are boundaries. You deal with these boundaries, and actually, little amount of income with the blessings better than a huge amount of income with no blessings.
I hope the common man follows Islam because Christianity is
why
dead,
don't
right?
you start with you?
Because I'm a competitive person.
Still,
I'm not
it doesn't matter.
I'm not because a common man, realistically, is someone who just does whatever the system tells him to do, right?
No, but
They
you are not.
work a job,
But you are not.
yeah.
But you were saying you are the other one. By the way, you are saying you will follow the system, whatever it is.
No, I follow the system to be competitive. Obviously, I don't care what the system is. If the system is believe in God and pray 5 times a day and make £1 million, I do that. If the system is you have to sell drugs to get by, I'll do that because I'm not going to let my mother die.
But you don't need to do that. My point is
because if my mother's going to die for that, I will do that.
You have to understand now here that in Islam, even in a time of necessity, in Islam as well certain rulings in terms of necessity. If you're gonna die or you're gonna eat pork, no, we eat pork rather than to die. We have this. That's it. It's called darura, it's called necessity situation.
So would that be okay in Islam if I did that?
In a necessity situation, it's okay. If you have alcohol or wine, and if there is no drink except this, if you drink it or you're gonna die, no, we say you drink it.
So if I sold drugs.
No. My point is,
that was the only way in that society.
If it was again, which the society that I talked about, for example, in that society, I came across. I said, if you want to be rich, true, in that society, but not everyone wanted to be rich. Some people have their own restaurants, they sell normal things. They deal with their own things, and then they said, yes, they may not as much rich as the other ones, but they survive.
I don't care about money like that. I don't want the most.
So if you want to survive, okay, good. So that's why those
Freedom.
people, they said, I don't ascribe to these things. I don't deal with gambling. I don't deal with the prostitution, and I have this humble restaurant, and I sell whatever I sell in this restaurant, and that's it. I survive. It's enough for me and my family. Enough. That's fine.
I'm too competitive for that. I'm too ambitious.
See, that's why you will go to the one. So it's not about a necessity situation. You're talking about beyond necessity situation. So as I said to you, in Islam, if there is a necessity situation, then that is something. No, you can't create charities through
You can make
filthy
money through it. You can make money a
You
bad
can-
way
you-
and then use it.
No,
to
no,
do good.
that's
If
not
that's
right.
the only way to do it. Why not?
In Islam, no. In
how a competitive
Islam,
person
that's
uses
my no. That's not. That's how you justify. We have to understand. We live by moralities. We don't live just only by what we think. Because here, what you are saying, it's okay. Even if for example, if someone he's a hitman. He will go kill someone, do this, whatever, and then they said, and that's the way to earn their money.
Yeah.
Why? If you said if they are in a system like this, what you gonna do?
If everyone did it, it wouldn't work. But I'm gonna do it
No.
because I'm competitive.
No, that's why. That's wrong. That's why even it doesn't mean you kill innocent people in order to survive, and in order not to survive. Sorry, not survival. In order just to make money, and then you spend that money doing charity. What kind of nonsense is this?
No, if you're killing
That's
people
nonsense.
for money,
That's what
that's what I wouldn't do.
Where we draw the line?
Yeah, my morality.
Where do you draw the line?
Where I draw the line.
Yes, drugs kills people. Drugs
If
kill
that's
people.
the only way to put food on my table.
Yes,
for my mother,
no. Again, I said to you, you are able to survive without dealing with drugs, or you're gonna deal with drugs and become very multimillionaire.
If that's the only way, is that the
To
only
be
way?
multimillionaire.
Is that the only way?
To be multimillionaire, suppose it is.
Okay, then.
So you don't mind the drugs kills people for you to become rich. What? I mean, how you sleep in the night
That's
if
how
you?
a common man in that hypothetical should
He
have
doesn't
no
need.
ambition.
You don't
no
need.
Ambition.
You
You're
don't
killing
need.
ambition.
Listen. You don't need to be a common man or a special
You're
man.
saying that's the only option to get
No.
rich and to help people
I said
to make
suppose. I
charities.
said to you suppose. I said to you suppose. But that's why.
I would try every other method first.
Okay,
If that's
then,
the method,
then
I will
do your method. Do it in a lawful way, and that's why
Yes.
if you're gonna cause killing others and harming others, which is drugs,
That's the
killing.
last. That's the last thing I'll do.
No, that's why. My
If that's
point
the
is,
only thing, yeah.
my point is, I would rather to eat only maybe one piece of a bread, and to have water, just only water, lawfully, yeah, and not to harm anyone. That's better for me. But you see here, the point is, when you are ambitious, your ambition shouldn't exceed the lives of the others. It shouldn't transgress the lives of the others. That's why when you are transgressing against the lives of the others, but that's you basically when you think, okay, if the system that the drugs, if you want to become a multi-millionaire,
If that's the only way to
you
get
don't have
rich,
to, you don't have to be multi-millionaire.
You're
You could
killing
be
ambition then, so no one can be an ambitious person.
no, you
in
could
Islam.
be. You could be. No, that's what because
that
you're restricted.
hypothetical, yeah.
You put hypothetical. That's why my point. There are different ways to have a good income. You have
exactly.
different
I do
ways.
that. I do
You
that.
have different ways to survive. You have different ways to make money. And then instead of doing this, that's what matters. What matters. Don't harm others. Don't harm yourself. Don't harm others. And that's why you are taking God out of the picture. For us as Muslims, that God is the main one that we focus on. So that's why if God prohibits us to do something, we don't do it. As simple as that. So you say whatever, because for us, what matters to us is how to please God in this life. Because we are here, the most important thing, how to please God. Now, and that's why the life is temporary. How long are we going to live? Even all those people who made money, who did all of these things, where are they now?
If enough people believe this, which they do, then the world's less competitive. So it's easier for people like me and the people in charge of the system that we're in to actually run the system because they don't have morals.
Yeah. Think about
do something good,
throughout the history, the people who has done something good, who served humanity, those are the ones who are remembered now. But the ones who were rich, they just only utilize whatever the system will become rich. Where are they? Even they are not even mentioned in the history.
I don't care about status. I care about freedom. I want to travel the whole world. I want to see everything as I can. I want to talk to people like yourself, like very educated people, and I just want to live life to the fullest in that sense, right? If I could be a useful person.
Do you have a Quran?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'll be
Brother,
respectful.
pass me a Quran,
My
please.
brother, I've declined like 22 Qurans today.
Why?
Because, and I've said this before.
But have you tried to read it?
Yeah, I've tried to read it, and I'll tell you why. It's because I couldn't make sense of it, and I don't want to accept something and not read it because that's disrespectful to you.
Okay. So, by the way, what did it make sense to you in the Quran?
The word, like the phrase and the words. I need to understand everything, or else there's no point.
By the way, this is simple. This is simple translation. This is not
I
complicated.
read the English as well.
No, by the way, this is not Arabic. This is English. But this is simple translation. This one is so simple translation.
I don't want to accept this unless I promise you I'd read it, and I can't do that. And that's disrespectful to you if I do that.
No,
because someone else would use that book for a better cause than me.
You never know. Maybe it's you.
But I'm not going to read it.
Try. Life is learning.
I know.
Life
You gotta
is
enjoy
learning.
life, bro. You gotta enjoy the
Yeah, enjoy
sunshine.
life. That's part of enjoyment of the life. To learn and to understand people. To understand why the people are thinking.
That's why we're talking.
And that's why here, you see here, that's, by the way, this is a very simple wording of the Quran. So that's what we are offering you. Just so simple wording. And if you don't want the Quran, we're going to give you a small booklet, which is something quick. And
I'll read it now, yeah. I'll
Okay.
happily read it now.
Okay. Give me the big question, brother. The big question.
I don't.
Which one you have? Islamic glance?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Have this. All right?
Very nice talking to you.
Okay.
What was
Nice
your
to
name
meet
again?
you. Sheikh Muhammed.
Sheikh Muhammed. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. All right. And your name is?
My name is Haraj.
Haraj. Okay. Okay. This is the
Yeah.
mic for that. All right. All right, Haraj. All right. Take care. All right. Take care. Okay. First, may Allah Azza wa Jal guide him and bring him to Islam. But at least, alhamdulillah, we try our best to convey the message of Islam to the others. And you'll find sometimes some people who have this way of thinking. Maybe he's young. As they said, he wasn't hit by the life. Well, inshallah, hopefully, that may Allah open his heart to the truth and to accept the truth. And inshallah, that's what we're trying. And Allah told us in the Quran, إنك لا تهدي من أحببت ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء. You cannot guide whom you wish, but Allah guides whom you cannot guide whom you love, but Allah guides whom He wishes. تبارك وتعالى. وجزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.